There's a quiet fracture running through every modern financial institution. It's not a market risk. It's not a credit risk. It's not even a regulatory risk in the conventional sense. It's actually a reality risk. Every time a complex structure has to be reconstructed from spreadsheets, every time an auditor asks for the definitive chain of authority on a decision made 3 years ago, every time an AI agent or automated strategy takes an action and no one can produce a single, independently verifiable record of the exact mandate and the scope that authorized it. Every time you look at a nested set of vehicles, financing lines, collateral packages, and delegated authorities, and realize that no single system holds a living, consistent model of what is actually true. Most institutions have papered over this fracture with processes, reconciliation teams, and increasingly sophisticated data platforms. Those platforms are useful. They're also incomplete. They record events. They do not enforce meaning. They do not prove, years later, that a claim was valid at the moment it was acted upon. And almost none of them were designed for a world in which both quantum computers and autonomous agents become operational realities within the working lifetime of the records you are creating today. That's the problem. The consequence of leaving it unaddressed is not a dramatic failure tomorrow. It's something quieter and more expensive. Permanent operational drag, rising cost of proof, growing inability to answer basic questions from limited partners, boards, and regulators with the speed and certainty they now expect, and a structural disadvantage against any institution that decides to treat identity, ownership, authority, and history as first-class, cryptographically enforced primitives rather than reconstructed opinions. We built the alternative infrastructure. At its core is a single, shared, bi-temporal claim graph, an ontology, that models people, organizations, AI agents, assets, obligations, and the typed relationships between them. Every claim carries its source, the dates it held, its disclosure level, and its confidence. Nothing is treated as real until 4 primitives align: a quantum-safe signature, reasoned judgment, a permanent record, and explicit permission. It's not another data lake. It's not a traditional blockchain. It's not a compliance tool bolted on to existing systems. It's a living model of institutional reality that can be queried, traversed, stress-tested, and independently verified, today and decades from now. Settlement happens on a permissioned Layer 1, designed from Genesis for regulated institutions. Native post-quantum verification, deterministic finality measured in seconds, near-zero gas. Known institutional validators, no reorganization risk. Identity, signatures, data rooms, treasury operations, and agent authority all run on the same foundation. An AI agent receives a verifiable identity, a scoped wallet, and a set of rules defined by its owner. Every action it takes is signed and settled so it can be traced, audited, and held to account under the same standard applied to a human trader or a board resolution. Look-through becomes a graph query rather than a multi-week reconciliation exercise. Concentration, single name, and counterparty exposure surface in real time. Authority scopes are live. History is forward-only and portable. Proofs remain independently verifiable without relying on any single vendor's services. We hold no financial licenses. We never take custody of client assets. Licensed institutions retain the customer relationship, the regulatory permissions, and the assets. We supply the post-quantum stack, and the enforced model of your institutional reality underneath it. This is already being used by institutions that manage layered instruments, nested vehicles, financing lines, and delegated authority across jurisdictions. The pattern is consistent. Once the ontology becomes the single source of truth for positions, mandates, and authority, the cost of proof falls and the quality of decision-making rises. Financial institutions are engaging us on paid projects, pilots, production deployments, white label treasury and identity stacks, and deeper integration into existing operational models. If your institution is feeling the operational or risk weight of the fracture I described, a focused conversation is a logical next step. Demand for this infrastructure is accelerating faster than our capacity to embed our forward deployed engineers alongside clients. These are rare operators, people who can sit inside a regulated institution, map its actual claim graph, and make the ontology real without disrupting the business. We need more of them, so we're raising capital. If what I've described maps to a real problem inside your institution, or if you are a capital partner who understands the strategic importance of verifiable institutional infrastructure, the next step is a private call. There's a Calendly link on this page. Book a slot that works. We'll use the time to determine, cleanly and without pressure, whether there is a genuine fit. The institutions that move first will not gain a marginal efficiency. They will gain a structural advantage in the ability to prove, to look through, to scope authority, and to operate AI agents with the same standard of accountability applied to humans. The fracture's already there. The only question is whether you continue to manage around it or whether you decide to close it. I look forward to the conversation.